continuing our inquiry into the Svadhisthana Chakra, which is the sacral chakra. Where did we leave off? Let's see. It is important that we do not lie to ourselves or be afraid, and we should neither condemn ourselves nor project the blame onto others. Our inner world is divided. We have a quote-unquote light side and a quote-unquote dark side. It is only when we take this dual reality into consideration and also accept our weaknesses that we are able to work on it. Until we are able to accept ourselves, we can perhaps give good advice to others, but cannot develop further ourselves. When we can simply observe the waves of emotion and unwaveringly fix our mind on our mantra, our sacred sentence given by a master, they will finally vanish. The mantra clears and quietens the mind and will certainly lead us out of the maze of our emotions and tendencies and into the light of truth. Anger, hatred, greed, jealousy, violence, cruelty, passion, arrogance, self-doubt, and lethargy are the enemies that we encounter in the Svadhisthana Chakra. They make life for us and our environment very difficult, as we know from many examples in history, and also in recent times. People are often blinded by these qualities and commit inhumane actions. The purification of these tendencies needs lifelong vigilance and constant effort. Discipline and wisdom, known in Sanskrit as jnana, which is ultimately where we get words like gnosis from Gnosticism and knowledge in English. At one point, the K was pronounced indeed. Discipline and wisdom, jnana, are the tools with which we are able to keep them in check. However, these tendencies will not be shed completely until the end of our life, because, as a part of nature, they serve to preserve our physical existence. Harmful effects only develop when they are connected to a selfish ego and deployed thoughtlessly for the pursuit of selfish goals. When we become conscious of these tendencies and understand their meaning and function, we are able to control these quote-unquote enemies, transform their energy, and utilize them for our development. Anger, hate, and greed are negative expressions of our ego. The ego itself is not bad. Its positive aspect is the will to live, and we cannot exist without the ego, because without the will to live we cannot exist without the ego, but because without the will to live and zest for life, nobody can exist. I love that zest. That caught me off guard. The ego is only harmful when it degenerates into self-interest and exploitation of others. In India, anger is known as a twofold curse, as it not only sucks the lifeblood of others, but also our own. When we are overcome by rage, blood cells within our body become dismantled piece by piece. This aggressive emotion darkens our entire phenomenon, which is a field of energy, you could say, and deprives us of spiritual energy. Closely connected to the expression of anger are greed and hate. When one of these qualities becomes active, the other two are also roused, and jointly they ravage the quote-unquote inner field of that person. The immense power of this emotional arousal also has a positive potential. When we succeed in controlling this explosive energy, we can transform it into constructive, courageous, and brave actions. The mastery of anger also brings considerable progress in attaining discipline and control over other negative emotions. We can cool down and extinguish outbursts of anger and hatred when we mentally put ourselves in the position of the person to whom our displeasure is directed and try to understand their reasoning. What we are able to understand, we can also more easily forgive. Through empathy, consideration, and tolerance, our hostile feelings will finally calm down. Jealousy means that we are dependent upon a possession and think that something or someone belongs to us. We imagine that our whole world would collapse if we were unable to obtain what we have set our heart upon, or if we lost it. We behave like a small child who fights with other children over a toy, and even if they get it, they are not really content. Problems always arise when we think egotistically and want to possess something completely and hold on to it tightly. When we feel flickers of jealousy stirring within us, we should endeavor to be independent and generous, because inner freedom is the best antidote to combat this frame of mind. Also, we only feel jealous when we are in love. Without love, there is no jealousy. Jealousy disappears when the feeling of love is pure, selfless, and supportive and beneficial for others, however. Many people suffer lifelong from the concept that they have not found quote-unquote true love, meaning a life partner who will balance out their personal deficits and fulfill their desires. However, what we actually need, and alone brings contentment and fulfills the desire of our soul, is true divine love. And this consists simply of giving, merely giving. Once we overcome jealousy, we gain freedom and develop our ability to give and to accept all-embracing love. And with that lovely passage, let's pause our reading of The Hidden Power in Humans there for now. So thank you for listening. And thank you, dear Usha Bai, for sending this again from your lovely spiritual master, Vishwa Guruji. I am so honored to get to hear his words of wisdom. I hope you all enjoyed this reading as much